Well, hello and welcome to Northshore Online. My name is Stephen Bolton. On behalf of the whole team here, we just want to say welcome again, and we're so excited that you're spending some time with us today. Today's service is actually going to look a little bit different because our Kirkland campus here is actually locked up. The doors are closed because our entire church community is out in the community serving at over 30 local schools, getting them all ready for the upcoming school year. If you are interested in joining and being a part of that, you can actually head over to the website, communityserveday.org, look through that list of local schools, and if there's one in your area, you can actually head there right now and get plugged in. There'll be a site host there that would love to get you started serving. We're doing everything from just spreading mulch and painting to even inside helping get the classrooms set up and ready for the upcoming school year, as I said. So you're not going to want to miss out. It's an incredible thing that we do called Community Serve Day. And I'd invite you again, if you are in the area, you can head over to that website and get plugged in right now. Well, Wolfgang actually is going to be bringing us a message today from one of those sites where we actually have a team serving, getting them ready. But before we do that, I wanted to invite you to fill out something that we call the online connection card. Maybe this is your first time or you've been going here for a while. This is just a great way for us to check in with you, get to know a little bit more about your story, and help you find your next steps here at North Shore. So if you want to, you can pull out your phone and you can scan this QR code right here and it'll take you to our online connection card. We would love to hear from you and just say hello. Well, guys, we are about to jump into the message together, but again, thank you so much for joining us here at North Shore Online.
Well, hey everybody, thank you so much for joining us on Northshore Online. It is great to have you. I'm Wolfgang. I work here. Well, actually, I don't work here. I normally work there on the Northshore campus. But today, I'm so excited to be here at one of our local schools talking about the amazing day that we have enjoyed together as a church family and as a community for Community Serve Day. Today is a special experience when more than 2,500 volunteers from 10 different churches, from all kinds of other organizations in our community have come together to serve in a very practical, tangible way by helping 30 of our local schools in the North Shore and Lake Washington school districts get ready for the school year, which is just about to start. And let me say, if you're watching this right now and you're in the Western Washington area and it's between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m., push pause right now because there's still a chance for you to go and be part of one of these serving experiences. Chances are an elementary or a middle school near you is where we're serving right now, and we could use your help, whether it's helping inside the school or whether it's helping beautify the landscaping and the exterior of the school so it's ready for the kids and for their parents as they show up for school here in just a short couple of weeks. Now, for those of you who are part of the North Shore experience, though, that are outside of our immediate area, let me also just say to you, we do not want you to feel left out. In fact, I'd challenge you that sometime over this next month, reach out to a local school in your community and ask them if there's anything you can do to help. I know in some parts of the country, people have already started school, but you can still contribute. And I'd urge you, please, reach out to that school. Just say, hey, is there anything I could do to help you guys as you're getting off to a good start to the school year? It's one of those experiences, no matter where we are, no matter who we are, we can all be part of. So I hope you'll take advantage and be part of that experience. But for those of you who are watching this later in the day and who maybe have already spent the morning serving or helping out, let me say, way to go. I don't know what you wound up doing today, whether you were helping outside, putting down play chips or weeding, whether you were inside helping teachers decorate their classroom or get their bulletin boards ready. But whatever it was, I know it might seem like a handful of hours helping out on a Sunday morning doesn't make that big a difference. But let me assure you, it does. Not just in meeting the immediate needs that teachers and schools have when it comes to their facilities and their classrooms. It makes such a difference in sending a message to our world and to our community that we're more than just talk. We're people who actually put our hands and feet behind the things that we say, who are happy to help, happy to serve. And my goodness, in this unusual year, that's more important than ever. I have a family that's full of teachers. My brother and his wife are both teachers. My mom is a retired school nurse. I have an uncle that's a professor. I have educators throughout my family. And I've talked with them and so many other friends, both in this area and in other parts of our country, who are teachers who've said this last year and a half has been among the hardest of their entire professional lives. In fact, many of them have even said, look, I don't know that I'm going to stay in this game anymore. This is my last year of teaching if we have to do another year like last year. And so by you serving, by you contributing in the way that you did, it sends a message to those teachers that they are not alone in the important work that they're doing investing in the next generation. It's just an encouragement to them that goes far beyond anything you can imagine. So seriously, well done and way to go. But experiences like what we did this weekend, they don't just teach us about the importance of partnering in our communities, they teach us something else as well. They remind us of what true greatness looks like. I don't know if you've gotten a chance to do any travel this summer. One of the things I love to do is go on road trips with my family. And many, many years ago, my wife Lori and I took a road trip down the California coast. And we stopped from San Francisco all the way to San Diego, just stopping in different sites, taking in the views, all the different amazing things there are to see in that beautiful part of the world. And one of the places that we stopped was along the central coast in San Simeon, a place called Hurst Castle. Now, some of you have maybe been there, maybe you've heard of it. Hurst Castle is this spectacular estate that sits up on the hillside overlooking the Pacific Ocean that belonged to William Randolph Hearst, one of the richest men of his day, a billionaire in his time, a incredibly successful magazine and newspaper publisher who was one of the wealthiest on the planet when he lived in the late 1800s into the early and mid 1900s. Well, he wanted to build a house that reflected his success in life. And so he set out to build this massive complex that came to be known as Hearst Castle. Those of you who've been there, you remember what I'm talking about. And if you've never seen images of this, I'd encourage you to look it up. It is spectacular. To this day, it's open and now belongs to the state of California, their park system. You can go and tour and check out this spectacular home that Hearst had built there along the coast. But just give you some perspective on this. The estate is on 250,000 acres of oceanfront property. It revolves around the primary mansion, a Casa Grande, not 16-ounce grande at Starbucks. This is serious grande. Over 68,000 square feet of living space in just the main house alone. That's even bigger than Bill Gates' place down on the lake. The house had 38 bedrooms, 42 bathrooms. I'm not kidding, truly grande, right? But that's just the main house. There were 3 guest houses as well, running between 2,500 square feet, that was the small one, all the way up to over 5,000 square feet. In addition, the estate had 2 massive pools, one indoor, one outdoor, that held thousands and thousands of gallons of water. He had one of the world's best collections of art in his day. And when the estate was at its premium, there was even a zoo filled with exotic animals from around the world. Some of them are still there. You'll see zebras out on the hillsides if you ever get a chance to go and tour. Now, in its heyday, in the 1920s, 30s, that period, an invitation to Hearst Castle was one of the most sought-after invitations in the world. Celebrities, world leaders, politicians, the rich and famous, they all wanted a chance to stay at this famous estate. And some of the most famous people of the period did, from Charlie Chaplin to Winston Churchill. And behind the scenes, what made it all work were hundreds and hundreds of staff, servants, people whose entire purpose professionally was to meet the needs and to satisfy the desires of Mr. Hearst, the chief, as they called him, or any of his guests. In fact, when you arrived there at the castle, you were assigned your own personal butler for the duration of your stay, whose entire purpose 24/7 was to meet any need, to satisfy any want, to get whatever it was you wanted so that you were more comfortable and had a better time there at the estate. Now, in our world, that's what it looks like to be great. To have so much success, so much fame, so much prominence, that there are armies of people whose entire purpose is to meet your needs and to make you comfortable. That's what people dream about. In fact, to have someone who meets your needs, who does your bidding, that's why some of you thought you'd get married, right? And if that's you, I want to remind you we have an incredible network of Christian marriage counselors that we would love to recommend to help you get through the train wreck that may be your relationship as a result of those expectations. See, we dream, what would it be like to have people whose whole job is to meet our needs, to serve us? That wasn't just true in William Randolph Hearst's day. It was true all the way back in Jesus' day as well, of course. All the way back then, people built their lives around climbing the ladder, about where they stood socially, about who was beneath them on the ladder of success or affluence. The dream of having servants to meet your need. Everything built around achieving status and standing and success. And into that world, that definition of greatness, Jesus says these powerful words. They're recorded in several places in the New Testament. This one particularly comes from Luke's account of this conversation. He notes that it took place at the Last Supper, just before Jesus' arrest and crucifixion. Luke 22, verse 24, here's what it says. A dispute also arose among them, the disciples, about which of them would be considered greatest. Who was the top dog? Who was the big disciple? Who was the most important of all? And Jesus hears this conversation, and here's what he says, verse 25. You know, the kings of the Gentiles, they lord it over them, and those who exercise authority over them call themselves benefactors. In other words, the people in authority in our world, the rich, the famous, the powerful, they know where they stand. They have people who they oversee and whose whole purpose is to serve and meet their needs. They use that authority. They even abuse that authority. But here's what Jesus says. That's not how we do things in my family. Verse 26. You are not to be like that, he says. Instead, the greatest among you should be the servant, the youngest, he says, and the one who rules like the one who serves. Over in Matthew's account of this, he uses the phrase this way. He records it as, the greatest among you will be the servant. Friends, Jesus turns the definition of greatness completely on its head. He says the greatest among you won't be the one who has others who serve them. The true greatest will be the one who serves. Of course, Jesus modeled that himself. That famous scene at that same Last Supper where the creator of the universe, the one who made these beautiful mountains that we get to enjoy, at least when it's clear, that same creator kneeled with his hands, and with those same hands that formed those mountains, he washed the feet of his disciples, showing what true greatness looks like. It's one of the things that I love about Community Serve Day. Because on a day like today, people at all levels of society, of all levels of affluence in life, they all come together. And regardless of their business card, regardless of their achievement or their bank account balances, they all come together to serve. From folks who are struggling to find a home to people who own several. From people who are trying to figure out what career to pursue to people who've achieved incredible success or own and run businesses in our world. All classes, all incomes, all backgrounds, students to seniors, all serving together, all willing to get their hands dirty to serve others. It's modeling what true greatness is. And it's not just the impact that we have on the community around us when we do things like this. Friends, these kinds of experiences, they're practice, they're rehearsal, they're training our hearts to begin to think differently about what greatness really looks like. The invitation to see our lives as servants. How can we help meet the needs that are around us? That doesn't come naturally for me. I need moments like today and other serving experiences to train myself, to get myself thinking of my life through that lens. Chances are you need that too. I mean, that's why we organize these kinds of things, because we want them to be rehearsals, practices, training sessions for us to build the kind of great heart that Jesus has in mind for us as his followers. And it isn't just big experiences like this. The ultimate goal is that every one of us will go into every day of the year, not just Community Serve Day, but every day of the year, with a heart that is open to serving, Whether that serving is in our schools, whether it's in our neighborhoods, whether it's in our workplaces, whether it's in our families, wherever it may be, having a heart that's looking for ways that we can make a difference and meet needs. And we'll continue to develop opportunities like this. We're already laying groundwork for a great experience that's coming up in October. And then, of course, another big serving opportunity that we'll do together in the Christmas season. But this is more than just one-time events or a handful of days out of the year. Our hope is that you will begin to ask every morning, how can I be more of a servant in my life today? When I go to school, when I get on the bus, when I take the subway, or when I go into my office, or when I'm just interacting with my kids, whatever your context, whatever your situation, how can I serve today? What can I do to reflect the true greatness that Jesus modeled for us? Whether it's going to serve in an ongoing way with one of our many partners in the community, which we'd be happy to help you find and get connected with, or whether it's just in your day-to-day life, friends, that is true greatness. Now, of course, there's nothing wrong with being wealthy or successful. But friends, don't let that scorecard define what a great life looks like. Jesus gives us a new scorecard. We see differently, not based on how others serve us, but how we are willing to serve those around us. The greatest among us will be the servant. And what an impact that can have. What a message it sends to a world where me first is the scorecard of the day. To say instead, others first, Christ first. How can I live my life as he lived his? Friends, that message is one that the world cannot ignore. And we don't just send it on big days like Community Serve Day. Each of us has a chance every day of our lives to send that message to our world. Friends, they need to hear it. They need to know what true greatness is. And we get to be part of it. Well, let me pray for you and for all that's happened this important day. Let's pray. God, I thank you. I thank you for the extraordinary work that you are doing in our community and around the world. I thank you for literally thousands of friends who today went out of their normal schedules, who were willing to brave the heat and the challenges that come with this strange season, and to go out there and to help clean up school campuses and set up school classrooms and chat with teachers and administrators and get to know them and be out in our community. I thank you for every single one of those folks who served, Lord. And I pray they will sense your pleasure and your favor in their life. God, I pray for our schools, the unique challenge that it is to invest in the next generation in this constantly changing world that is so complicated. Lord, I pray that you will pour your blessing on teachers and educators and administrators and staff as they do their important work in investing in this next generation. Give them wisdom. I know we have so many teachers and faculty and staff members, administrators that are a part of our church family at Northshore. God, I pray for each of them that you will give them fresh energy and passion to do their job with excellence, to navigate the complexities of our world in a way that brings honor to you and reflects the good news of your love in our lives and for every one of those kids. And Lord, I guess above all, I ask you'll continue to make us a church community who redefines greatness, who lives their lives focused on how we can serve in your name and following your example. And so I thank you, Lord. I see you doing it, and I simply ask you'll do it even more. Do it more in my heart, I pray, God. And I ask it all in the name of the greatest servant who ever lived, Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen.
Well, thank you, Wolfgang, and thank you for choosing to spend some time with us here at Northshore Online. You know, things like Community Serve Day are only possible because of people who choose to give their time and their finances here at Northshore. If you're already partnering with us financially, I just want to say thank you, and if that's something you want to take a step in today, you can click the link that's being posted in the chat section, or you can just head over to our website, northshore.church/give, and it'll take you to that same link. We just want to say thank you. Incredible things are happening because you're giving. One other thing that I wanted to invite you to this week is something that we call Team Night. It's coming up next week, August 29th at 5 p.m. And if you're serving on a team at North Shore or you're interested in serving on a team at North Shore, this event is for you. We're gonna have catering, dinner's gonna be provided, there's gonna be tons of fun and other activities for you and for your entire family. So you're gonna wanna make sure the kids are come, they're gonna have a blast as well. So come August 29th, 5 p.m. to Team Night, whether or not you're serving on a team. It's gonna be an incredible time for us as a church, and I just wanna make sure you're there. In order to be there, you gotta RSVP though, so head over to northshore.church/team night, fill out that link, and we would love to see you there. Well, thank you again so much for joining us here at Northshore Online. We will see you right back here next week, same time, same place at Northshore Online.